What's up, guys? Welcome back to Picture Breakdown. This is going to be my breakdown of The Bad Batch Episode 15, Return to Kamino. I'm going to be going through this episode shot by shot for interesting visual details, hidden references, as well as any background information that you might need to know. But first, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be notified for every future Bad Batch episode breakdown. Spoiler warning for Bad Batch Episode 15. Alright, so we open with the Bad Batch on a planet repairing their ship after it took some serious damage in the last episode. And on a screen in the ship, it says in Orbesh, Hunter, then device connected. The ship is automatically connecting to Hunter's comm device after Crosshair started it up. Crosshair brings Hunter to Kamino, and while they're waiting for the Bad Batch to arrive to try to save Hunter, they start talking.
You tried to kill us. We didn't have a choice. And I did.
This is a small bit of foreshadowing done because the only reason that Crosshair knows he didn't have a choice is because he got his chip removed, and now he's making that choice for himself. The Bad Batch and Omega then make it to Nala Se's lab, and Omega says,
You all were here too.
What do you mean?
Your mutations were enhanced in this room. Experimental Unit 99 began right here. I was there.
Alright, so there's a bit to unpack here. So starting off, the Bad Batch were not born with all of their abilities. It turns out that Nala Se used a tiny bit of potential mutation in each of them and amplified it to the level that they are now. The other thing is that Omega was there when they were being experimented on, saying that since Omega was never artificially aged like the rest of them, she's technically older than all of them. Which I gotta say is kinda weird because Hunter is her father figure, but he's also younger than her. After the Bad Batch walk right into Crosshair's trap, he says that he's going to give them a chance, but when the TK troopers go against Crosshair's orders, he does this. This is the same thing that he did in Season 7 of Clone Wars with the reflector things that bounce the blaster shots. Crosshair then gives a speech to the Bad Batch telling them this.
You all are meant for more than drifting through the galaxy. It's time to stop running. Join the Empire, and you will have purpose again.
This is a different take on Vader's speech to Luke during Empire.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Rey, I want you to join me. We can rule together and bring a new order to the galaxy.
Omega then sets up the training droids with live rounds, recreating the scene in the first episode of them in the training bay fighting off the droids together as a team. We then see Admiral Rampart on a Star Destroyer talking on a hologram to Moff Tarkin, and we get Tarkin's famous line.
Admiral, you may fire when ready.
Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
You may fire when ready.
After they take out all the training droids, Hunter says,
Forget the Empire. This isn't you. It's your inhibitor chip. We can help you. Wrong. I had my chip removed a long time ago.
Then Hunter looks at the side of Crosshair's head, showing the scar from the engine fire that burnt his face a couple of episodes ago. This is kind of implying that it was at this time that Crosshair got his chip removed, but that he's been staying with the Empire the whole time because his team abandoned him and he had nowhere to go. In my episode 8 breakdown, I actually theorized that this might happen, so I guess that's a small point for me. Hunter stuns Crosshair, and Tech says,
Hunter, 3 Venators are descending on the city. We need to leave, now.
The Venator-class Star Destroyer, also known as the Jedi Cruiser, was a Star Destroyer in service with the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars. Following Order 66 and the rise of the Galactic Empire, Venators remained in service to the Imperial Navy during the early days of the Imperial era. Ultimately, though, the Venators were decommissioned and replaced by the Imperial-class Star Destroyers, the Star Destroyers that we saw in the original movies. The Venators then shoot down the entire city with the Bad Batch still in it, and while we know that they still have to survive because this is their show, we are still left wondering how exactly they survived. I'm pretty sure that they used the tube system that they used to get into the facility in the first place because they still need to get back to their ship, and the tube system will lead them directly there. Alright, so I have a few thoughts on this episode, starting off with the fact that I really appreciated so many different callbacks that were put in. There was a callback to the reflector chips that Crosshair used in Clone Wars Season 7, the scene in Episode 1 where they fought the training droids, Hunter's promise to Omega that she would never have to go back to Kamino, and Tarkin's famous line of, "You may fire when ready." I also very much liked the plot-heavy nature of this episode, stating that Crosshair got his chip taken out all the way back in Episode 8, and the whole point about Omega and the Bad Batch's creations. I think that the fight against the training droids was very fun to watch, but I can't help shake the feeling that this episode was lacking something somehow. But those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments section. Before you go, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for every future Bad Batch episode breakdown. If you enjoyed this week's breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button. It's super helpful for the channel. And if you know someone who's watching Bad Batch, please consider sharing this with them. Put down any questions or comments and let me know how you think they're going to escape to Poca City. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.